All right, so I'm in the process. I'm continuing to clean, and as part of this, I am working on doing something with all of these Onan engines that I have. So this is a 1983 318. This is one of the 318s I picked up in July of 2019, if you want to go back and look at those videos. This is that 83. I've never seen it run, so you know, I don't know what the problem is with it. The starter does not engage with the flywheel, but if you look in there, not really sure why it doesn't engage with the flywheel. I'm guessing the starter is kind of pooched, for lack of a better term. So this engine's got lots of different problems. I think I robbed a spark plug out of it to test another engine. Obviously the air filter somewhere, I took it off, and it has this just absolutely stellar dipstick. I mean, this is like, you know, the finest addition to a dipstick I've ever seen right here. Gorilla Glue and all. I mean, that's just impressive. So a couple things about this engine. You can tell it is a very early, I haven't looked at the date code yet, but you can tell it is a very early 82, because they actually started producing these engines in 82, or at least I've seen some 82 engines in 318s. Or this is a very early 83 because it has this big cover on it. This big cover, and like I said, the tins are all kind of whacked up here. But this cover was designed to kind of force some air out of the front. They quickly did away with this cover for the little bit more simple cover I think in the 84 model year. So let's see what year this engine is. Oh, I could have looked at it from the other side. It is a B43G D83. So yeah, it's a 1983 engine. So if you want to look at that right there, it's I don't know if you can see it. GoPros are terrible at that, but it's a D83 366, so on and so forth. So I mean, clearly it needs a little bit of work. I haven't decided if I'm going to see if I can get it to run. We're going to see what's wrong with the starter first. Unfortunately, because it is a B series starter, I actually have to pull all the tins, and I believe I have to pull the flywheel. I can't remember off the top of my head. So I'm going to work on pulling all the tins. I'm just going to set you up here, and I may jabber why I pull all the tins off, and we will go from there. So give me a few minutes to get set up, and then we'll start taking the tins off. All right, because this engine is all SAE, you should only need to get the shrouds off. You should need a 3/8, a 7/16, or a 1/2 inch. If there's any bolts outside of that, they are not original to the engine covers. So most of the engine cover bolts are 3/8, except these 1/2 inch covers right here for the lifting eyes. They go in the top of the cylinder heads. Other than that, I think everything should be 3/8. And like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do with this engine quite yet. If it looks like I can repair the starter, I may go ahead and see if it'll run, see what kind of compression it is. But overall, based on what I'm seeing so far, I don't think there's much hope for it. There's way too much grease and stuff and mice. My guess is this engine has multiple issues. At least that would be my guess. It has multiple issues. So yet, evidently I can't read. I got a 5/16 instead of a 3/8. Well, there's a 3/8. One thing I do want to do this coming year is I would if I get an opportunity and have the time, I would like to rebuild an Onan. I don't think this is a good candidate. I think I would prefer to rebuild a P series over a B series. Alright, so the front cover's off. Now we can work on all these back ones. I actually have not taken an Onan apart and like this in probably 2 years. So to get this cover off, you do have to remove one of the intake covers, or one of the intake bolts. And I'm trying to remember. These early style engines are a little bit different. Oh no. So let me grab the camera here. So normally this arm right here would swing out of the way, but all this Gorilla Glue has run down and run across this arm right here, so the arm does not swing. And I really, oh wait, maybe I can get the whole. Oh yeah, we're just gonna swing all the Gorilla Glue in there. So, because normally this is a B series engine, so B series engine, these dipsticks are pressed into the oil pan, so you should not remove them from the oil pan. That's just that's a way to invite oil leaks and stuff. And these oil pans are very universal for these engines, because this is, if a P series breaks the starter mounts on the block, you can use one of these B series oil pans to mount the starter, because the starter mounts to the oil pan. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to get up in there as soon as we can get in there, but we got to take all of the other crap off first, all the covers and whatnot. So set you back up in the tripod. And would it help if I elevated you a little bit? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We'll move you a little bit closer to the action here. I'll try not to run into the camera too many times. So take this off. What I am going to do, we're going to go ahead and put the intake back together. I'm not going to torque these or anything. It's always interesting what kind of junk that you can find on these things. All right, back to a 3/8. Is anybody taking bets on how many additional tools I'll need? There's that one. Now I've got to remove this coil. I think I can just take the coil off with a wrench. I have another B series that's running, and so if I want to test any of these components, I can always if I want to test any of these components, I can always take and put them on there. Now, riding the struggle bus today. Okay, that was right. It just doesn't want to come loose. Oh, it's got another bolt in it. I mean, anytime you start to see stuff like duct tape on coil mounts and things along those lines, you know it's probably not your cup of tea in terms of an engine. Without some type of significant rebuild. But hopefully this summer I can rebuild. I've got a P220 that I would like to rebuild, sitting in the shed. I just don't know when I'll have time to do it. I've got 1.5 million other projects. Somebody mentioned in a video, I don't know, a couple months ago, the fact that I never finish any projects. Probably true. But, you know, I kind of work at my own pace. I don't work for anybody doing this. This is my hobby. If I finish a project, I finish a project. If I don't finish a project, I don't finish a project. Alright, so there's the coil. So now we can get in here. We can go ahead and pull the voltage regulator off. This is a really early voltage regulator. Very early voltage regulator. How big and fat that is. Probably still works to boot. These are some very early engine tins. I think I've only seen one set of engine tins like this since I've been working on these units. I mean, these, you can look in the parts breakdowns, but I mean these did not last very long in terms of when they were on the engine. The reason I'm doing this video like this is I've had several people ask me to make videos like this, just me taking apart stuff. So if you can see that, all the oil, grime, and everything else, and I've cleaned this machine once, so not looking the best. Lots of oil on the engine block. I guess it's been overheated a couple times. Just a guess. The hour meter on this machine is somewhere around 1600 hours. So I don't, you know, so it's difficult to say. Outside's a little bit better. So now we're left with the flywheel cover, which is a pain in and of itself. This unit probably would have been covered by several of the very early updates that came from Deere. Okay, there's that. Now I should have some parts down front that I need to tip the engine forward. Because now you've got to get, there are two bolts that hold the flywheel cover on down under here. Now the B series has a longer flywheel than the P series. And that longer flywheel means that the B series drive shaft is shorter, among other differences. Okay. I think we can get the flywheel cover off now. I don't think there's any, there's going to be, I gotta get the, got to get the fuel pump off. I'm going to have to take some of the throttle mechanisms off. That's pretty easy. I'll just go ahead and unlock this. So that takes care of that. And I think, for simplicity, I'm just going to go ahead and cut those fuel lines. No, I can't cut the fuel lines because I got to take the fuel pump off, because there's a line that goes to the back of the engine. So a fuel pump's got to come off. Ooh, this is disgusting. Ugh. Wow. Yes, this is a very early 318 because the hose clamp is not the traditional red style that you would see. So this hose clamp is probably original. It's one of the early wire ones. So it's a round wire. That's a very early, or makes this a very early 318. Serial number on this thing is 232-390, and they started at what, 227? Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, I think I'm missing. I gotta be missing something down here. Because this doesn't act like it wants to let go. Unless, of course, it just has that much dirt and debris in it. Which it could very well have, that much dirt and debris in it. There we go. It had that much dirt and debris in it. Wow. I'm trying to be gentle enough with this that some of this dirt in the bottom of the flywheel cover stays. How's that for dirt and debris in the flywheel? And it shows because it's ruined the flywheel on the engine by rubbing down the edges of the fans. And there's so much debris in there. Yeah, I mean, just look at this. Ugh. Oh, it smells like rats. Ugh. There's so much debris in there. That was our starter problem. Our starter had so much crap in it that it could not go back into position. That right there is a ginormous mouse nest. Now I have to spend 30 minutes cleaning my table up. This is disgusting. So, there you go. Now, hey, at least it spins. Yeah, it just needs a new starter, because I think in this case, the starter gear is stripped out. I'm not going to touch the camera because how nasty my hands are, but it looks like the starter gear is, well, maybe not. Yeah, there's just something's not right with the starter. It's overextended itself or something. So the starter's bad, and that's what caused the problems. But at the same time, based on what I'm seeing and the wear here, it's probably been run hot, so at bare minimum we need to pull the cylinder covers and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera off after I wipe my hands and clean all this crap up, try to get the engine a little bit cleaner, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss it. Alright, so got a lot of the crap cleaned up, filled up, I don't know, probably 5 pounds of dirt and everything in there. And I mean, I've still got a lot to go. I did find a mummified mouse in there. Because it is very apparent that this thing has had a lot of, oil and stuff on it for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of the cylinder heads and see what the piston looks like, see if there's any scoring. If there's any scoring or the pistons are scorched or anything, it's not really worth moving forward any more than absolutely necessary. So that's what I'm going to do first, and basically it's just a 1/2 inch, and we're just going to take all those off. So I'll put you up here like that, and then we'll just go ahead and we'll make life easy. My guess is there will be some oil at the bottom of the head here. Ooh. That's terrible. Or at least it looks terrible. Oh yeah. There's no scoring, but this engine's definitely got some wear to it based on the oil on top of the piston. And it's just wiping this off. You can see that, oh, there's a nice lip there. Yeah, this engine's pretty much worn out. It's down for a full rebuild, so I got to tear it apart no matter what. So next video, hopefully you've been able to see all this. Yeah. So here, I'll show you, because I don't have a lot of time left on the SD card. So you can see, or hopefully you can see, so this right here, there's that line right there. You can clearly tell the cross hatches, and then you can actually feel a bump up right there with that piston. So my guess is this block would need to be bored if, maybe not, but my guess is it's going to need some work, just digging around it. So yeah. One we're going to do, I can't access to take the starter off, so it'd be that bolt and that bolt down there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and work on taking this thing apart, and we will go from there. So next video will probably be me working on taking this apart some more. Thanks for watching.